Mark Cooper then, pre-Luton away. Mark, I know survival was probably the bare minimum at the start of the season, but bearing in mind where you were in January and a few people had probably written you off, how big an achievement did it rank in your career getting safety with 2 games to go?
I think we're just delighted that we're finally over the line in terms of preserving our Football League status in our first season in the Football League. So I think that's the big achievement, and we're not going to go overboard and celebrate things too much, because we've got a lot of work to do now to make sure that we don't leave it this late this time next year.
2 games to go though. How useful is that to start looking at the future for 1 or 2?
Yeah, it gives us a couple of games to have a look at 1 or 2 things maybe, but we want to finish the season as well as we can. We want to accumulate as many points as we can to give us that, impetus for next season.
A couple of bits of player news this week. Dale Bennett's left the club. A word on him, because he was a regular right up until left out at Cheltenham.
Yeah, very good. Been great for the club. Been there 5 years. Great competitor. Been one of the first names on the team sheet. And I just, with the Cheltenham game, I had to change 1 or 2 things. And Dale asked if he could leave the club. He'd got the travelling had become an issue to him. His wife's expecting a baby, so he asked if he could move himself back to London and concentrate on that and see the season out there.
I suppose it says a lot about his professionalism that he'd been here so long. I know the travelling was a bit of a chore for him. He, as a city boy, so seeing fields everywhere didn't necessarily help either. But he came with a mission to get the club promoted, and he saw it through. That's
right. It was a big part of us getting promoted. But things move on. It was the way that it ended was very the right way to do it. All relationships have to come to an end at some time, and the way we did it, but on both parts, was very, very good, I thought.
Harry Pickering's been brought back from his loan spell at Shortwood. What does that say about Brad Collins' situation?
Well, Brad won't play tomorrow because he was concussed, so under the rules, he's not allowed to play. So we've called Harry back to be on the bench tomorrow. So
Cameron presumably starts, and obviously he started up at Crewe, but how much will he benefit from having kept a clean sheet down at Yeovil the other night?
Yeah, he did very well when he came on, and I'm sure he'll be fine. We've got no worries about Cam playing in the team tomorrow at all.
Yeah, he's a goalkeeper. He looks to be positive, isn't he?
Yeah, positive character, good lad, and a decent goalkeeper.
How important is it that you end the season in the right way, or the last away game at Luton, because obviously they'll be in party mood, and imagine you've got no desire to be a doormat for them?
No, like I said, we want to finish the season properly. We're under no illusions that it's going to be a really tough afternoon, because they've got promoted. So they're obviously a very good team. They're a good football team. They've got a lot of attacking threats. They try and play good football. So it's going to be a tough afternoon in front of a big crowd, a sellout crowd that will be expecting Luton to keep up their title challenge. They're still in with a chance of winning the title. So they'll be going full throttle for the 3 points. So difficult afternoon, but one we've got to embrace and test ourselves against that team for next year.
And Christian Doidge has just told us he wants 20 league goals this season, but he's also talking about next season. How good is that to hear? Because obviously there might be a few fans who might be worried about him next season, bearing in mind how important he's been this year.
Yeah, I think Christian's just a good a good pro. He does the right things. He lives his life properly, and he enjoys being at the football club. Now, sometimes things come out of the blue and things happen, but at this moment in time, he's still a Forest Green player, and we're thoroughly hopeful that he will be this time next year.
Have you given any thought yet to how many, in terms of numbers, you need for next season to get to where you want to be?
I know what players or what kind of players I want. I know which players won't be here, so it's just a case of getting the games out of the way and start that preparation after the Grimsby game.
So has that talking process not started yet then?
No.
Thank you, good luck.
Thanks.
Mark, I believe Chris Clements will play his last game tomorrow due to Grimsby Parent Club. He's made a few little noises about being possibly interested in being here next season,
That's right.
along with Tav Campbell. Are they players that you would be interested in?
Still got 2 games to go, so you know the minutes they get on the pitch and their performances can only help us to make sure we have to offer them a deal. So like I say, performances are key. They've both played their part since they came here. So Clem is a fantastic technician, and Tav's done really well when he's come off the bench. He looks a handful. So it's decisions that we have to make.
Yeah. Would it be fair to say it's been a season of 2 halves when you look back on it now?
I think if you'd have seen the first 2 games, everybody would have thought we're in for a good season. Played really well against Barnet, and played really well here against MK Dons. Beat Yeovil. So I think people were expecting us to do better than we have done, but it's a tough league. Some big teams in it. You look at the teams that you've got to compete against. You know, Coventry, Swindon, Notts County, Luton, Lincoln, all paying really big money. So it was never going to be easy. The first thing was to make sure we retained our status, and we've done that.
Yeah. Do you feel you've got a core of players now that can, and you add to that can really kick on next season?
I think so. I think we've shown in spells since January that we can hold our own. Consistency's been a key, but I think that's been a byproduct of the position we found ourselves in. At times the players have become anxious and not really expressed themselves because of the fear of losing a goal and dropping points. So I think once we have a break and start afresh, I think that core, and we add to that as well as we can, then I think we'll be okay.
And would you say you'd put a tick against all of your January signings, success-wise?
Yeah, I think you'd have to do, wouldn't you? I think the ones that have been in and around the team have all played their part.
Yeah, and Dale Grubb really hit the ground running for you. He's been a real find, hasn't he?
He has. Yeah, I still think he'll benefit from having a really good pre-season. You know, he came, you know, obviously from part-time football, and he was playing catch-up, but he showed in some of the games that he can be a real sort of attacking threat. And I think once we get a pre-season into him and he gets really accustomed to how we work and train really hard and focus, I think it'll be even better next year.
And just 2 players left from the Wembley team. I mean, that shows how quickly things can change in football.
Yeah, that's right. But that's football that ships in the night, and things move on. And we've tried to do things in the right way with the guys that have left, and I think that's important.
There's been a lot of conjecture on the forum about players, manager. What's your message to the fans?
On the whole, the fans that I speak to have been really supportive. You know, but whatever club you go to, and I would probably suggest that any forum you look on, there will be a handful of people that you can never please and will be never happy. Doesn't matter who the manager, doesn't matter who the players are, you'll never ever be able to keep them happy. So I think when you see the crowd against Chesterfield, I think the majority of people are happy that we're going to have another season in the EFL. So my message will be just support your team in the right way, support the players, all of them, and get behind them, because screaming and shouting at people, does that really help them? Does that really help players? I'm not so sure it does.
Yeah. And moving on to next season, it is going to be a big season again. There's always pressure in football.
There is, but nobody has any divine right to get promoted. You look at the teams and look at the money being spent. It's a really tough league. You look at like Lincoln getting 10,000 people. They can afford to pay players big salaries. Luton, obviously they've gone up. Notts County, Swindon, Coventry City, Mansfield. Some really big teams in the league, and we have to try and find a way to compete with these to make sure we get the right kind of player in.
Yeah, just one more from me. Do you like it when you hear the chairman saying the championship is the end goal? How does that make you feel as a manager?
I think you've got to have goals. You've got to set goals. When I spoke to the chairman, the thing that really impressed me with him was his optimism, his vision, where he sees the club going, and he won't let anything get in the way with that. He won't let people stand in the way of him getting where he wants. He won't have negativity. He just wants positivity and getting everyone behind his vision and making sure we get there.
Great, thanks Mark.
Cheers.